I hate to make this video, and I hate to tell you guys, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves is really good. And I was pleasantly surprised. And before I actually get into the review, I'm going to have to go over my history with Dungeons and Dragons and why I saw this movie and what made me go out and see it. I have played Dungeons and Dragons on and off for a while. I played it back in 8th grade for a while. Most of 8th grade I kind of played. Then I just stopped, lost interest, which happens. But then I regained interest like pretty recently, and I got done finishing a campaign with some of my friends, and me and my friends right now, we're in the middle of a campaign, but we're taking a little bit of a hiatus here, but it's fun playing it with your friends and just having this feeling of camaraderie and just being the dungeon master. You just watch these people unravel things about these characters you helped them sort of bring to life in this world. So now let's actually get to the review. So with all that out of the way, Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves, is it worth it? Yes, it really is. Because it's not just D&D fan service. There is D&D fan service, and it's pretty subtle. I didn't notice all the little details, so I had to watch videos about the Easter eggs. And they have references from the 80s show, from the Gelatinous Cube, to Waterdeep. They have so many references in this movie, it's kind of hard to keep track. But the thing that really made me love this movie, and I think this is the make it or break it for any viewer, the cast. And to me, the cast are having fun, and it is nice. Everyone from Chris Pine to Hugh Grant is having the time of their lives. My favorite character in the movie is Simon, who is a sorcerer. He starts out kind of mild manner and sort of meek. He's a bit sarcastic at times, but Simon doesn't really have the highest self-esteem, and he's not the best sorcerer. And he's just learning how to come into his powers. So throughout the movie, when we watch Simon's power progress, we are also watching his character progress, which I thought was pretty cool, and I feel like it's accurate to watching a character grow in D&D. And Simon is just a phenomenal character, and I think Justice Smith knocks it out of the park playing this character. He really carries this role. Chris Pine, I thought was pretty good. I forgot what his character's name was. I forgot the other two, except Helga. Thought Helga was good, but let's talk about Chris Pine. I thought he was good. I thought the character himself was good. I thought the motivations were good. I just feel like they picked him to be a bard, but they don't go in detail with his powers and stuff, because if you didn't know in D&D, bards have powers and spells with each song. I never felt like his songs themselves had magical powers and abilities. And I just don't get why he's the leader in the movie if he's just a regular bard who just plays the lute and doesn't have any instruments. But I kind of like the message with his character that he's more brains over bronze. And to be honest, it's awesome. So I thought Chris Pine himself was good, but I wish they did more with his power set. Then we got Michelle Rodriguez as Helga. Great character, really fun comic relief. She does have the worst line delivery at certain points, but I think that's the point of her character, to kind of just be what you see is what you get. Then there's this druid who's a tiefling, which is like a demon creature, in case you don't know Dungeons and Dragons. And I thought the tiefling was cool. I liked her turning into the owlbear. I liked her turning into the different animals. I thought that was pretty sick. And watching that unfold in the movie was awesome. And I just liked her chemistry with Simon. So let's talk about the things I didn't like. So the things I didn't like are minor. Some special effects weren't finished yet, and that's how I felt, but at the same time, they're not the worst special effects I've seen. I felt that some of the dialogue was a bit hokey, even for D&D standards, but at the same time, it never took me out of the movie. It only took me out of the movie in one scene, and one scene alone. Another thing I'm not a fan of was Hugh Grant's character when it comes to motivation. And I get that it's like a D&D campaign, because in case you haven't played Dungeons and Dragons, when you play a campaign, you are playing either a character or the dungeon master. So the dungeon master knows the full scope of the story. However, since this is a movie, we don't really have many characters who are the quote unquote dungeon master, except this cool guy who's a paladin who kind of steals the show when he's on screen, not gonna lie. I thought he was one of the best characters in the movie, even though I know he's supposed to be an NPC. But Hugh Grant, I don't really get his motive. He's just a greedy jerk. I don't know. I felt like his motive could have been deeper, but at the same time, we don't really like need a backstory, because like I said, this is more of a simplistic story and it just follows the four main characters, and I feel like each of the four main characters got the best development. Also, the main antagonist, who's like this wizard, she was okay. I think her name is Sophie. I wasn't a big fan of her. I thought she had cool fight scenes and stuff, but I just didn't feel intimidated by Sophie. I never felt like, ooh, stay away from her. I just didn't, like I didn't see the cast like scared of her until like the very end, where she does a good job playing the antagonist. Also, her duel with Simon is sick. The things I'm mixed about, let's just finish it off there. Things I'm mixed about. The combat. The combat is pretty accurate and par for the course for D&D, because each turn is 6 seconds long. But at the same time, it kind of feels either not accurate enough or too accurate. And I mean, too accurate in a good way and not accurate in sort of like an understandable for a movie way. So like, I can't really get mad at it, because, you can't just like have these slow paced fight scenes like you're talking to your friends across the table. So I get why they had to kind of like speed it up. And I thought that was a bit mixed, but I thought that was fun. So overall, I got to give Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves. If I have to give it a number rating, I might give it a solid 8 out of 10, because to be honest, it's like not the best movie I've seen all year, but not the worst. But at the same time, it surpasses like most films like trying to be like this that are coming out now. So overall, I just enjoyed this movie and would like to know, what did you think of this movie? And would you comment down below if you've seen it or if you are planning on seeing it after this review? And I hope all of you have a nice day.